well, I'd like to start with taking you on a trip around the world. Right. Machu Picchu, Rio de Janeiro, Naxos, Greece. And as we go around, kind of let your mind take you there. Let your mind take you to places that you've been, that you love, or places that you'd like to go. Exhilarating. Relaxing. Meditative. Now, I'd like to do the exact opposite. Take a minute and think about a time in your life when the Tuesday was the same as the Wednesday is the same as the Thursday. When your drive or your commute to the office, to school, to whatever you were doing that day was the same thing. And you felt like you were doing the same thing over and over again. Kind of like the definition here. I settled down into a routine of work and sleep, right? That was a routine. You were in this routine, right? Now I'm making routines sound really bad, but actually life is a lot about routines. I think maybe for good or for bad, I'm definitely a creature of routine. I create habits and I try to improve routines all the time in personal and in professional stuff. In personal stuff, for example, my morning routine, I try to make it better and better. Like, how do I make this better? Oh, you know what? A song in the shower, that's great. Okay, all right, better. And exercising while I brush my teeth, better. And so I continue to try to improve on routine, right? And with the company, we did a lot of that, figuring out ways to get better and better with artisans. How can we sell their items better? What can we do to create more efficient processes, procedures? How can we do things better and better and better? And that's why I was extremely disappointed when I was at this conference and this guy, Keith McFarland, talked about how leaders, it's all about breaking routines, not building them. And that to me was really confusing. I'm like, well, wait a minute. I thought business and life is all about building better and better routines, getting to A+ routines in everything that you do. But instead, there was this guy saying, no, it's not about that. You got to know when to break them. Let's take an example for a minute with Netflix. So Reed Hastings, founder of Netflix, he's really good at building and breaking routines, right? So when they got really good at sending DVDs in the mail, remember the little the red envelopes that came in the mail, right? And when they got really good building that routine, getting really good at that, he's like, no, we're going to stream this. And that was before streaming. People hadn't really even been talked about too much. Whoa, streaming, breaking a routine, stress, right? But they were able to do it. And right when they got really good at streaming and getting good at that routine, he's like, oh, no, we're going to do content. And so constantly innovating and doing it at the right time. They're building awesome routines and breaking them. And this doesn't just apply to business. This is all over. Think about academia. Think about research. Think about sports. Think about politics, activism. Think about all these things, right? Building great routines, healthy routines, and then breaking them. I'm a soccer coach, so I got an example of an athlete and so when we coach athletes, we're coaching them to build routines, right? Building routines. But we really want to coach them to just be more creative, to learn how to do things on their own, right? That's a good coach. They coach to do things on their own. That way, when they're Neymar in the World Cup, and they've got 4 defenders in the penalty box, and he thinks about something that no one else would have thought about, and makes this pass out of nowhere, and it becomes a goal, and it becomes brilliant. That's brilliant, right? The brilliance is in the breaking of the routine. It's in doing the unexpected, right? So who are these people? Who are these people so easily able to handle change, right? These people that are so willing to take risks, so willing to attempt to dive into the unknown. Who are they? So unfortunately, there's a large percentage of them, of leaders, of people with breakthrough ideas, a large percentage that have suffered trauma. And it could be natural disasters. It could be the loss of a family member. It could be surviving the Holocaust. It could be suffering through apartheid. It could be becoming homeless, a debilitating disease. These things that affect you in an extremely powerful way. And what are those things? They're all unfortunately, extreme routine breakers, right? It's the extreme breaking of a routine. So you've got your life going one way, and then all of a sudden something happens that's traumatic and goes the other way, right? Most people, when they go through that, they don't do very well. It leads them down a dark path. They become homeless. They suffer depression. It becomes very challenging to break through that. But there's a small percentage of those folks that are able to then see the other side, and they channel that trauma into strength. And that's why so many of the leaders with breakthrough ideas that are leading, so many of them as a percentage versus the broad percentage in society have had these things happen to them. If you're one of those people that has suffered something like this, then I really want you to try to dig down deep and think about how you can turn that into a strength. How what you've been through can become a strength. Just today, I met a man, Izzy, who was homeless, and he was inspiring other people now to help the homeless crisis in LA. So there are people that suffer it and emerge and become that much stronger, okay? And then for those of you that haven't, then don't go looking for it. Don't go looking for trauma. There's healthier ways to break routines and to create change, okay? And so some of those ways are, a new hobby, a new class. I spend time speaking to students, entrepreneurs, and a lot of them are thinking about, what's that idea? I'm looking for that idea. What's that next big idea that I can have? And then I tell them, well, you know what? Just do new things. Take a new class. Volunteer. Volunteering is an incredible way to break routines. Volunteer. Try new things. And listen. Every time when that's happening, listen. Listen, because that's the way ideas come. And that's why universities are such hubs of ideas. Because at the university, there's so many influences. So many different influences. And those routine changes are what cause people to have this open-mindedness, that if you do something where your peers are not exactly who you would think you would normally be dealing with, that's really powerful. And guys, there's one thing that you could do more than anything. It's risky to say that. More than anything that's not traumatic. There's one thing that you could do that's the ultimate routine breaker. And that's travel. Travel. Okay? Whether it be to the next town, whether it be somewhere you're couch surfing internationally, wherever you go, it can be such a routine breaker. It's the ultimate routine breaker. The more immersive it is, the more we benefit. Here's a little video on that.
¿Cómo estás? I'm 40 years old now, so my time is passing. So we co-founded Navica, really to work with artisans.
We travel all over the world to discover artisans and change their lives.
Every adventure is different, but the quest is always the same. It starts when we find an amazing piece.
Now, the hunt is on.
¿Usted conoce esta familia, quizás?
Our mission is to discover the maker.
Sí.
They know it's a masterpiece, but they don't know the artisan, or they won't tell us.
No.
Oh, man. Oh, 5 kidnaps today.
5 secuestros al día.
We should get going.
There's 2 guys that are following us. Van's back over here.
This looks much sketchier than I thought. Now I'm scared.
Hola amigas, estamos buscando un artesano.
We ask person after person until we get a name and a location.
Oh, yo, yes? Oh, qué bien! Okay, let's go. Ah, that's awesome! We're gonna see how it goes, and if he's really good, then he's gonna be a Navica artist.
¿Aló? Hola, hola, hola. ¿Es su
¿Ah,
trabajo?
sí?
Hola, tengo buenas noticias hoy día.
She opens the door.
And her life has changed forever.
Vamos a comprar más de 5,000 soles de tapices. Ahorita, ahorita. Because it's all worth it because it's all about changing lives.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Nos ha puesto Dios aquí.
Dame la mano. Gracias, no, por ser el maestro.
De verdad, de todo corazón les doy gracias por todo lo que nos han traído, porque para ustedes es poquito, pero para nosotros es bastante.
Oh, de nada.
We also try to have a fun time.
We dance.
Party. It was fun.
Oh my goodness.
Ay, qué bonito este.
What began as a dream in our basement has grown so much bigger.
Thailand was.
Coming back.
Yeah.
We were in Bangkok. We were about to get to the airport an hour beforehand. Then we realized that we didn't have diapers.
Yes, it's a lot.
Is everybody ready? Lucas, Lulu, you guys ready?
It's super
It's very hard traveling with kids. Sometimes I'm just like, I feel very overwhelmed and I just grab a big piece of chocolate and I eat all of it. I deserve this chocolate, I don't care, because I'm just traveling with kids.
Lucas.
Okay, Lucas.
Oh no, oh my goodness.
Where's the Twix?
So travel, 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 right? Parents, don't be scared to take the kids. Travel, travel, take them out, do what you can. Again, it's the more immersive it is, the more we benefit. So it's really about just digging in. And I remember the first time the kids were 3 months old, the twins were 3 months old, and it was time to travel, and we said no way, and then we did it, and it opened a whole new door of opportunity. And yeah, a lot of times the Twix is needed. It is challenging, but it's definitely worth it. And you know what? One thing that I can say is that, you know, growing up, my parents, both teachers, so they had extended summers, right? And they decided that, you know what, the one thing we were going to do with our kids, with our summers, is we're going to take them places. So they'd throw us all in the van, and we'd drive down. We were growing up in San Antonio, Texas. We'd drive down to Mexico, or we'd drive around the country. We'd go to state parks, camp, we'd do whatever, but it was always an adventure. And those experiences ended up becoming so important. I don't think Navica would be around if it wasn't for those experiences. Because the whole connection of seeing artisans, the connection of seeing how unfair it is for artisans, you know, seeing how talented people around the world, they don't have those opportunities. That was at the back of my mind. So when I was at the university and the idea came out, it became like my moment for oh wow, let's do this. And we gathered a group of people and we made it happen. Going back to our friend Reed Hastings, so sure enough, you know, the CEO of Netflix, he spent time in the Peace Corps, 2 years in Africa. And this is a great quote from him. Once you've hitchhiked across Africa with 10 bucks in your pocket, starting a business doesn't seem too intimidating. So I really want you guys to think about ways that you can change your routines through travel. And the travel doesn't have to be international again. It can be any kind of travel, any kind of routine-breaking travel. And international exchanges, volunteer work, international volunteer work, or just going on a trip and taking something and dealing with locals, like taking an extra suitcase, looking up a local orphanage and reaching out to them and saying, oh, I've got an extra bag of stuff. You know, those kinds of things are little ways that you can have an impact internationally and enjoy it. My parents are doing Rhodes Scholar trips. They're doing their first one, I think, this fall in India. And it's one where they do, they're learning, it's educational travel, so they're learning and having a good time too. The more that you deal with locals, the more immersive it is. So travel, build amazing routines, and then break them in spontaneous ways. I'd love everyone to just get out there. You know, there are people to meet, places to see, and many, many, many routines to break. Thank you.